following video may be triggering for some viewers. It is intended for mature audiences and deals with topics of anxiety and depression.
Hello, my friends. How you doing? I am not doing too well today. Not. I usually say I'm doing well, and then I go and flip it, and whatever happens throughout the course of the conversation, things change. But listen, you are my friends. Okay, this is why I created this channel. I created this channel to meet people and conversate with people and talk back and forth to people and maybe even help some people with whatever their collections, help some people with situations going on in their lives, just help people in general. Okay, that's why I created this channel. I didn't create this channel to get myself any glory or to take something from somebody or get something for nothing. That's not why this channel was created. It was created as like a therapeutic forum for me to have somebody to talk to and know that there may be somebody on the outside that might get something from what I'm trying to talk about. So with that said, I did get an Amazon package in the morning this morning, but I also been going through some kind of issues. Okay, and maybe you can help me. Maybe you can help me with these issues, and maybe I can help you. All right, so to before I get to the package and open it, there will be an unboxing and unpackaging of movies or CDs or whatever's in this Amazon drop. That this is a Sunday morning. I will tell you, I do not know how long it's going to take for me to edit this thing and put it out there for you to see. But if you haven't been watching this channel for a while, I am a guy. Number one, my job is a preschool teacher. I teach preschool. I love my job very much. I've always have. Prior to that, I worked in sweatshops and mills. I worked in one of the biggest bakeries in the world that makes wholesome bread and gold medal bread, and that's what I did. I worked at Gold Medal Bakery, and listen, it was a tough gig. It was a 12-hour on, 12-hour off shift with flexible shifts because I was vacation relief. So let's say somebody went on vacation and I was working 11 to 11, and the next day somebody went on vacation and they had to be their vacation was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I would go home and sleep from 11, 12, 1 to like 4 hours, and then or 3 hours, and I would be back at work again. So it was a tough gig. It was a tough gig, and this was during the time my first daughter was being born. But I did what I had to do to provide for my family. That was my number one goal, was to make sure that my wife and my child was going to be taken care of and was going to be provided for. Now, we're talking, this is years ago. We're talking years and years ago, okay? I was probably about 18 years old, 19 years old at the time. I'm not sure, maybe 20, okay? And so we're talking over 25 years or so, maybe 26 or 27. I don't know, because I stopped counting my age about 4 or 5 years ago. And I kind of pride myself on that because I get this Peter Pan thing. I figure if I don't contemplate on my age, then I don't get any older. But unfortunately, if you've been watching my videos last week or whenever this comes out, around last week, I ended up in the hospital. I had terrible heart pains, chest pains. I went into the hospital. They were gonna go through this whole thing. They wanted to put a camera through my groin and check my heart to see if everything was flowing properly. Instead, I kind of opted out of that, and I went into because I was scared. I was straight up scared. Okay, and I wanted to. There was another option. We could have an EKG, MRI, wherever it is, where they take the X-ray of your heart. Okay, where they actually see, so they can see the vessels, but it's like an exterior thing. Okay, if they would have went in, they would have been able to check to see, make sure there's no blockage or clots or anything like that. And I opted out of that. So I don't know if I'm having some kind of regret that maybe I should have took advantage of while I was there to have that checked, because the pain is still isn't gone. On top of that, I suffer from extreme anxiety. I have anxiety attacks. Okay, I take medication every day to stop me from having anxiety. I also possibly have some bipolar disorder, hereditary within the family. My son might have it. It's a hereditary thing. I know my father had it. It's a going from 0 to 100 and having like the floodgates of thoughts going through your mind, good, bad, and ugly, all day long. Okay, it doesn't stop. Okay, it doesn't stop no matter what's going on. I could be at perfect peace and happiness and have everything going on perfect in my life. I could be sitting at a play watching my son or daughter in a play and being like overly proud of them and having this overwhelming feeling of happiness and joy and everything like that. And then 2 minutes later, I'm thinking of death or hurting or pain or whatever. And then it will go back to joy and happiness. Now, let me make this very clear. I know I'm not the only one out there. I know I'm not the only one that suffers from this, okay? And there's people that get up every day and do a job every single day, and they do a good job at what they do, and they function, okay? I am fully functionable, okay? The fact that I take care of preschoolers and have the bipolar, anxiety type thing is not a bad situation for my job because I am over worried. I'm constantly caring of the kids. I'm constantly worrying about the kids. I'm constantly overthinking what could possibly happen. I'm like 10 steps ahead of them, or I'm worried about what might happen to them. So a person like me, as difficult it is dealing with children that are 3, 4, 5 years old, and the stress of them, not wanting to do what you want them to do, or yelling at you, or being angry at you, or whatever the situation is, whatever they're going through that day, kids are kids. And in my heart, I feel like this was my purpose in life, was to take care of kids, because it's, to me, since my 25 years, my oldest daughter is going to be 25 years, 25 years, I have been taking care of my kids. And it seems to be the only thing that I've ever been good at, okay? It seems to be the only thing I've ever been good at, okay? Everything else I've kind of failed at or struggled with or whatever, I mean? And this channel was an outlet. This was an outlet for me because I was tired of paying therapists that didn't care about me. I was tired of paying people the money, and I sit there and pour my guts out to them, and then after an hour they look at me and say, okay, $25 co-payment, I'll see you again next week. And meanwhile, getting no answers, getting no empathy, no there was no remorse over what was going on in my life. Now listen, there's been a lot, okay? I haven't spoken with my father in over 17 years, 16 years or so, whatever, which is good, which is fine, because when he and my mother were together, it was terrible. I had a terrible childhood, okay? Now my mother will tell you otherwise. If you ask her, you had toys under the tree, and you had gifts, and you had all these wonderful things, and we loved you and took care of you. She can tell me all of those things, but what I remember is the fighting, okay? There was constant fighting, and it was bad fighting. And if my mother can kind of, if she hasn't blocked this out like I've tried to block it out, she will realize that every day was a fight. Every day was, and it wasn't just yelling and screaming back and forth. It was glasses being broken. It was things being thrown across the room. It was words that you can't take back, okay? Sometimes, I used to say to all of my therapists, from high school, middle school, or whatever, I wish my father would have physically hit me, okay, more than he would have verbally abused me, because for some reason I think the bruises would have went away, but the mental pain and stress doesn't go away, okay, which I think is what makes the reason why I'm such a good teacher, and reason why I try to be a good father and try to give my children the right direction, is because I never really had that. I never really had somebody that cared about me. I never really had a father that cared about me, and it took the time to say, this is the reason why I'm doing this. He never took responsibility for his actions, okay? None of my family ever took responsibility for their actions and said, yes, I made a mistake, okay? I shouldn't have did this, or I shouldn't have did that, or I should have looked out a little bit more. It was more about what they were going through. I'm going through things right now in my life, but I'll tell you, my priorities are still my children, okay? When I was in that hospital, laying there, thinking I was going to die, to be perfectly honest with you, okay? I was actually contacting my new boss and telling her, I'm like, if I don't make it out of here, okay, I typed this whole thing out, and I didn't bother on sending it, but I was like, if I don't make it out of here, do me a favor and give my position to my middle daughter, who's trying to become a lead teacher, and that way all three of my children would be together when they all started the job. Because maybe in my heart I was thinking maybe that's what the purpose was. Maybe I'm supposed to be taken out of the equation so my children could be together and love one another and care about each other and take care of each other, because dad ain't gonna be here no more. So I didn't want, my sickness was hurting me more because I didn't want to be the example for this new boss. I didn't want her to look at me like this guy is a mess, and therefore his children might be a mess, and maybe I invested in a mess, and I don't want to think, I didn't want her to think that she invested in a mess. She didn't. She invested in and for people that couldn't love or care more about children more than I can think of anybody. I can't think of anybody, besides my new director, and off the top of my head, and my old director, and a couple of teachers that I've met in my life that have just been 100% all about the kids, caring about the kids. And I will tell you, most of the preschool teachers, the teachers that I've encountered in my life, had issues also. They had issues also, but they were the best preschool teachers. Wanna know why? Because when you don't understand, when you don't have love all your life, you want to give as much love as you possibly can, if that makes any sense. Like you see a child. Well, most of the children that I deal with on a daily basis, they don't have fathers in their life. So, or the father walked out, or the mother's non-existent, or the mother's in rehab, or whatever the situation. They have issues going on in their lives, and these are just little people. That's whether they be 3, 4, or 5, or whatever. They're little people going through big problems. Okay, big problems, and they got to deal with them, because the bottom line is, when you're fighting with your spouse, or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and you have a child, the person that while you're fighting with them, there's a little person somewhere listening to everything that's going on. They're seeing the glasses get broken. They're seeing the flower pots get smashed. They're seeing the pans being thrown around. They're seeing the yelling and the verbal abuse against mom and dad. They're seeing all of that. They're there, okay? And I know this because I was there. I seen it. I seen it firsthand, and I can't forget about it. And these are the things that creep up on me when I am sitting at a play, or when I am sitting in a movie theater, or when I am sitting watching a movie, or if I'm sitting just with my family, just sitting in the living room, just watching TV. It just never goes away, and I don't think it's ever gonna go away. I don't think it's ever gonna go away. But I will tell you, laying in that hospital bed for 2 days, I really thought that I wasn't going to make it out. I really thought that this was going to be the end, which really made me think about a lot of things. I have a granddaughter, and from all the schooling that I had, it said that children do not really remember things until they're about 3 years old. So your child from from birth to almost 3, they're not going to remember all the stuff that's going on right now. So if you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Christmas gifts like I did, okay, they ain't gonna remember any of that stuff. They ain't gonna remember the first gift that they got for Christmas unless you take a picture. They ain't gonna remember the toys unless you hang on to them for them, or you give them back to them later on, or if it becomes one of the most special toys ever and they carry it around for the rest of their lives. They ain't gonna remember any of this stuff. Well, you could give them a ball of wrapping paper and they're gonna play with that wrapping paper. Give them an empty box, they're gonna crawl into it. The bottom line is in my head, I'm laying there and I'm thinking, I'm like, I wanna be around. I want my granddaughter to remember me. So I gotta make it 3 more years. I gotta make it 3 more years of my life. I can't be in this hospital bed, dying of a heart attack or a stroke or whatever was going on with me. I can't have it happen. I gotta fight through whatever this is, and I gotta get out. Now, if you watched my video, which I advise you to do so, okay? I'll put the little picture over here so you can find it, okay? And I'll put the link in the bio or whatever, because it's a long video, but it'll explain to you exactly what happened, okay? And if you've ever gone through something scary like this, where you feel like the end is near and you ain't gonna make it out alive, then it's a little bit of a life-changing situation. But the messed up thing is, in your head, you're like, okay, I want to change my life. I want to make things different. I want to do different things. I want to look more in the right directions. Maybe I need to go to church more. Maybe I need to pray more. Maybe I need to look at a different. Maybe what I'm doing is not right. Okay, so you think about all this stuff while you're laying in bed. And then you're cleared from leaving the hospital. I left personally with the same pain I had in my chest that I had when I got there. I left with no answers, but a bunch more medication. That's what I left with: cholesterol medication, heart medication, a medication for acid reflux, a bunch of different medications, and no answers. I didn't get any real answers. It was like, okay, you start taking this new medication, try to stay calm, eat better, change your lifestyle, get rid of your carbs, no more bread, no more sugar in your diet, get rid of the soda, get rid of all that stuff. That's what you need to do. Well, for 2 days after I left the hospital, I was like, yeah, I'm all like, yeah, I got to change. I want to live. I want to live a little while longer. And then 2 days later, on the third day, the wife don't feel like cooking. I don't feel like cooking. Hey, should we just stop at Wendy's? well, once again, you go to Wendy's. Well, there's the bread. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're gonna get a sandwich. You're gonna get something. I figured, okay, I'll get the healthier of them. I'm just gonna get a regular chicken, a small chicken sandwich. Okay, I'm gonna wipe the mayonnaise off, and I'm just gonna have a chicken sandwich. But there's still the bread. I couldn't give up that bread, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what am I doing? You know, as I'm eating, I'm like, what am I doing? Now, back in the day, you talk to a guy that would go there and get a baconator or a son of a baconator, you know, bacon filled cheeseburger with dripping with oil and grease and cheese and everything. And yeah, maybe I did make a slight life change, but it's got to be a little bit more. My wife bought me a water bottle. I don't drink water, and I constantly have kidney stones. That's the reason why I have kidney stones, because I don't drink no water. And yeah, I don't know if my friends have ever had kidney stones, any of you guys or gals, okay? But you can comment below on that one. That's like the worst pain ever, okay? They put that pain up there next to a woman giving birth, okay? It's painful, and I've had it multiple times within my life, and every time I go, the doctor says drink more water, but I'll drink it for the first couple of days. I'm not a water guy. I don't care for water, so I stop. My wife found this drink thing where you put a cartridge in and it has flavored water, whatever. I've been drinking that for the last couple of days. But I have also been sneaking in the soda. You know, I've been sneaking in the soda, not caffeine soda. I've been staying away from caffeine because that really does a job of my anxiety. But the caffeine-free soda, but there's still sugar in it. But I have a love for soda. You know, it's just a nice cold soda. There's something about it. It's an addiction. These are addictions that I need to stop if I want to live a longer life. So I just wanted to share with you this morning because I was feeling a little regret, a little hurt, a little fear. When I woke up this morning, I was having a numbness in the center of my head, and I was afraid I had a stroke. I was afraid that, okay, well, I got blockage in my heart, which was never resolved, and now I'm waking up on a Sunday morning with numbness in my head, and yeah, and you know who I thought about, and this might be crazy and not crazy. I thought about Michael J. Fox, okay, and the empathy that I have and feelings I have towards Michael J. Fox. He was one of my favorite actors. Still is one of my favorite actors. Okay, even though he can't really act anymore because he's going through what he's going through. And I don't want to say what it is because I know I'm going to get it wrong or whatever. I don't know if it's Parkinson's or MS or whatever the situation is. He's struggling and battling, and every time I see him, he seems to be more and more. I don't want to say messed up. That's probably not the right word for it, but he doesn't look, he's not the Michael J. Fox I remember from Back to the Future. He's not the Michael J. Fox I remember from Family Ties, but it's the cards that you were dealt, you know what I mean? And he's dealing with the cards that he was dealt with, okay? And he's still pushing through, and he's still got his wife by his side, and I can kind of relate to all of that. You know, I've been thinking about it a lot lately, because they had like some kind of thing. It was on YouTube the other day, and I was watching it, and it was I don't know if it was a Comic-Con or whatever, and Michael J. Fox came out, and then Christopher Lloyd came out, and I'm looking at Christopher Lloyd, and he's getting old, you know, but he's got it all together. And I'm looking at Michael J. Fox, I'm watching him struggle through this whole thing, and I'm just seeing them embrace each other as friends, and it made me feel really, really good. But then again, it made me feel really, really hurt and confused, and it made me realize that life is very, very short. Okay, it's very short, and you never know what's gonna happen to you next. You know, you don't know what the next what the next part of your life's going to be. You know, you could be perfectly healthy one day and end up in the hospital the next day. You could be driving down the street one day and then somebody hits your car, and then you're not here anymore. You could be out with your friends and you're doing the normal things that you're doing. And I tell my kids all the time, you know, I know that there's alcohol and drugs out there. There's more drugs out there now than there ever was. Ever since they legalized marijuana, marijuana's everywhere. Everybody's smoking marijuana. And I tell my kids, I'm like, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, because when Dad was younger, yeah, I did my share of things. But you need to be mindful of what's going on around you. You need to be mindful of what's going on in your life, because sometimes things go wrong. You know, sometimes you don't want to get that wrong drink or that wrong hit of something or that wrong something to the point where you just don't wake up. I had a friend that I worked with when I worked at the mills, and he was a young kid, 26 years old, and he went to go see the doctors a few days earlier, and the doctor said that he had the heart of like a 7-year-old. Okay, he was addicted to painkillers, oxycodone. He would take prescription medication by the handful. He was stealing it from his mother. He would buy it from guys at work. There was all kinds of things going on. Plus, he was a pot smoker. He was a cigarette smoker. He was a drinker. He had all these different different addictive things hung up against him. Okay, but what he also had was no support system. Okay, he had a old school Portuguese father that was just like very very strict, but oblivious to what was going on in the world around him. Well, this guy, he's 26 years old. He had a son. He's driving home from work one day, and his heart just stopped. His heart just stopped. He was on the highway. His car skidded off the road, and he died. He's no longer here. His kids have no his son has no father anymore. You know what I mean? It's just a memory of the father, and that's it's things like that that kind of scam me. And then throughout the course of my life, I also had another friend, well, acquaintance, okay, that I also worked with. And this kid was like 18 years old. He's 18 years old, and he was into all kinds of drugs. Okay, most of the guys I worked with at the mills, they struggled from addiction. Okay, they were a lot of them were ex-cons. A lot of them had difficulties with their families, and they turned to drugs. And the job itself was terrible. It was a terrible job where we would work a lot of hours, and we would be away from our families. And even though we're trying to provide and make a better life for our families, there's also a lot of guilt behind that. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Like you're trying your very best to make the best for your family, but then you can't be with your family, so you feel guilt with it. So then when you're finally with your family, you try to give them everything you possibly can. Meanwhile, you put yourself in debt. You buy them things that you can't afford because you're trying to compensate for that time loss. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's like you can either not make any money, be a poor person and be with your family and possibly be happy, or make more money and be a rich person, but then it's not be enough spend enough time with your family and still be sad. It's like you can't really win. I couldn't really win in that job, and I did that for 14 years. I worked third shift at night for 14 years, and it was 14 years of guilt. Okay, I had 14 years of guilt, and when I finally got out of it, my wife went to school and she got a good job, and I was like, it's time for me to go back to school. She's like, what do you want to be? I'm like, I want to be a teacher. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to school and become a teacher. Well, I'm not so good in math. Okay, I'm not a math guy, so I did not pursue my elementary education. Plus, I didn't feel like there's a test that they give you at the end when you want to become a teacher that it costs like $300 to take the test. And my brother, who is a very book smart person, not a very he wasn't a street smart. I was a street smart guy. I was the guy out in the street doing the hustling and the dealing and the stuff. Okay, I'm the one that did all of that stuff. Okay, I needed money to survive. I needed money for things that I wanted. So I hustled. Okay, I was the hustler. He was the book smart guy that the parents were going through a divorce. So it was like, okay, per the court, my mother had to pay for half of schooling. Per the court, my mother had to pay child support because my father got custody. And so he was kind of babied. So in a way, he was babied, and but he was book smart. Okay, so my brother, you ask him a history question, or you ask him something about science or math or whatever, he's gonna nail it. Okay, but you ask him something about paying bills or the real life, or difficulties or whatever. I don't really talk to him that much. So maybe he's changed since then. But back in the day, my mother would handle all of that for him. She handled everything. His mortgage payment would get sent to the house, and his bills would get sent to the house, and she would help him sort out the bills, help him pay the bills, help him do things. Probably have changed since then. I do not know. I never asked him. I haven't asked him, and I don't care really. It's his life, not my life. But ever since I was 17 years old, I moved out on my own, and I took care of myself. And then when my wife got pregnant, I took care of a wife and a child, and I did it by myself. Okay, I never asked for a handout. I never asked for any help of any sort. I never asked for any assistance. I hustled. Matter of fact, I have been taking anxiety medication for probably over 20 years. Okay, I'm losing my little neck thing here, and I will tell you that some and when my daughter was young, okay, in order for me to make money, I sometimes would sell my anxiety medication. I would go without. I would have drug withdrawals, and I would struggle through it. And I know this is completely wrong, okay, but at $5 a pill, okay, that helped put formula on the table. That helped put bread in the bread box. That helped pay the bills. Okay, it helped do what I had to do. But I struggled, and I also not only struggled with my mind, the fact of being not medicated, whatever, I had to struggle with the heart, being that I knew this wasn't the right thing to do. I knew I was doing the wrong thing. Now, I don't think YouTube's gonna fault me for being motivational here. I'm trying to be motivational. I'm trying to tell you what I did was wrong. Okay, I'm not sitting here and glorifying what I did as anything being right. Okay, I did wrong. Okay, and I regret everything I did. Okay, so in a way, I'm kind of confessing that yeah, I did it. It's done. It was over 20 years ago, and it's never gonna happen again. But I still carry the guilt. I still carry the guilt. I still carry the could I have done something differently? Should I have done something more? Should I have done something less? You don't know. And this is the stuff that flies into my head on a daily basis, and it's a struggle. It's a big struggle, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I get a lot of comments, a lot of good comments from people saying that this channel has helped them in some way. There's sometimes that I can be really, really funny. Okay, I can tell jokes. I'm sure when I open up my package, I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of things I'm gonna say that are gonna be funny and you're gonna enjoy it. But then this being as real as I am, sometimes you get days like this. Okay, these are the make or break days. I'm hoping that you took something from this and will hit that subscribe button and bring a little joy into my life. But if you didn't, and it's kind of bummed you out, then I apologize. I apologize for that, for bringing you back to whatever terrible circumstances you may have had in your life. But yeah, today was a little bit of a scary one. I sat there and I sent a message out to my kids, just kind of a plea for help. Don't fight with each other, love one another. Help keep the house clean. Don't whatever you could do to stop Dad from having to repeat himself over and over again and get worked up and get upset. It would be a benefit to me. Please help me, because I don't want the thing with me is that I've spent a lot of years telling my kids, you're killing me, you guys won't listen, you're fighting, and you're eventually gonna kill me. Well, this was the saying I said this morning to them, which might make sense, but may not make sense, or it might have been just something off the top of my head. What I said to them was, if every day somebody tells you that you're a duck and you don't turn into a duck eventually, then after a while you're like, well, that's not going to happen. I just give up. It's not going to happen. So by me telling them every day, you're killing me, and whatever, I don't want it to come to the point where it has to happen for them to realize that I wasn't joking. There's something going on internally right now. I'm not feeling right. I'm not feeling well. Numbness and sickness, and I literally this morning was throwing up. I've had been going to the bathroom for like 3 days now. Still have pain in the chest, and the numbness thing really scared me this morning, because I was like, am I having a stroke? Is it a Bell palsy? When you start Googling things, listen, number one, when you're not feeling good, don't Google nothing. Don't go on Google and start checking your symptoms, because then that's worst case scenario. Okay, and then you get that worst case scenario, and that don't help anything. If you have anxiety already, worst case scenario is not going to help you. I took multiple pills this morning. I took the pills I was supposed to take. I took one extra pill for anxiety, because I knew I was totally losing it this morning. Because when I start vomiting, I know that the anxiety is over the top. I know that, because I normally don't do that. That's like the worst case scenario is the vomiting. Okay, where I'm like, I got myself so worked up that my body is shaking and I just can't stop it, and then I start to get myself physically sick. So I knew I was at a bad place this morning. But I did also know that I had you guys that I could turn to, and I was like, I told the wife, I said, listen, she came in with the package this morning, and I'm like, just put it behind me. I don't even care. Don't even want to look at it right now. I'll deal with it later. But in my head, I'm like, you know what? If I sit in front of the camera right now and I make a video and I talk to myself in a way, but I'm talking to other people, like I said, supposedly I have 90,000 people that are watching me. Then maybe you'll hit somebody, and somebody will strike a chord in somebody's heart, and they'll be like, yeah, you know what, I'm not doing too good either. Maybe I got to make some life-changing experiences. Maybe I need to appreciate people a little bit more. Maybe I need to give mom a call, or give dad a call, or give my kids a hug right now. They're right there. They're sitting right there. Just grab them and give them a hug and tell them whatever, or just apologize for something, or somebody that you did something wrong to. And if these people don't want to hear it, then just try to make some kind of peace with yourself. That's kind of where I'm at with some of my family members. Is like, I'm not gonna apologize for things that they did to me. But I forgive them for the things that they did for me. But I'm not gonna call them up and rekindle a relationship with people that probably have not changed. People that are probably the same way they were 20 years ago. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna call you up and say, listen, I'm sorry that you know we fought, you know, and I want to straighten it out. No, I'm not gonna do that because I didn't start the fight. You started the fight, and I don't know whether or not you're over that fight. Yeah, obviously you're not, because I'd be reaching out to you. You're not reaching out to me. So that's this stuff that battles with me. You know, battles in my head. You know, because I want to make it very clear that I forgive everybody for everything that they've ever done to me in my life, but I don't forget everything that everybody has ever done for me or to me in my life. Okay, if that makes sense. So I walk cautiously. I walk cautiously around people. Okay, I don't let a lot of people into my lives. Okay, I don't trust a lot of people. Okay, I've been hurt many times from whether it be from people at churches, people, family members, children, or whatever. It's been a thing. Bosses. It's been a lot of hurt, a lot of me trusting and giving everything and telling everything. This channel is crazy because you guys have no idea how honest I am when I'm speaking to you. This is like throughout the course of the day, every story I tell you, everything I say to you, everything that comes out of my mouth is 100% pure honesty. Okay, want to know why? Because I got nothing to lose. I got absolutely nothing to lose at this point in my life, and I have it's just to me it's venting. I'm venting. I'm telling you something, and hopefully you're feeling something, understanding something. Now I thought this was gonna be worse. Okay, I thought I was gonna sit down in front of you. I thought by this time I would have probably broke down and had some kind of really strange emotional moment with you guys. But after writing the letter this morning to my kids and after thinking about it for a while, I'm actually feeling a little bit better. I'm actually feeling better that I got this off my chest. I feel a little bit of weight off my shoulders. It's good to do this. So I'll tell you right now, if you don't have a YouTube channel and you suffer from anxiety or stress or depression or whatever you're going through, it may be a good idea. Because I'll tell you, if you're one of these people like me that have been to therapists for years and years and years, and you feel like you got nothing from it, this might be the best outlet for you. Because I'll tell you, with every comment that I get from a viewer, with every encouraging comment, or you know, hey, you're doing good, or I appreciate your videos, or thank you for staying in there, buddy, or I look forward to the next one that you do. We never know what we get with you. I love that stuff. I love it, and I'll tell you, I acknowledge every single one, and I read every single one, and I cherish every single comment that is made, whether it be good or bad. You know, I just, even if it's a bad comment, I know that you still took the time to sit there and listen to me rant or talk or go through whatever I was going through for the 15, 20 minutes, hour, no matter what time it is. I don't have a clock in front of me. I don't time these things. This is all how I feel. You might get a 15-minute video, you might get an hour-long video. I do not know. I don't even know where we're at right now, but I am going to open hit this right now so I can catalog it. And it is from Amazon, and they probably have a pull thing, even though I have a scissors over here in front of me. And I do have a couple more. I'm going to just get everything out of the way because I got to file everything. I got like 3 packages over here. Oh, we got a lot of stuff in here, though. Okay, all right. First thing we have is a Blue October CD. What are they calling this one? Spinning the Truth Around Part 1. Blue October. Hate Me Today, Hate Me Tomorrow. That group. I may be one of the few Blue October fans still out there in this world. I'm not sure, but that one song, that Hate Me song, if you heard it before, look up Blue October, look up Hate Me, watch the video. That song really, like, is in me. Okay, so it's like a piece of me. Okay, and out of all the songs I could possibly think of in my entire life, that's the one that kind of sums up my life the most in a way. I just, if you have a few moments, you take a chance. Okay, after you have a chance, when you are done watching this, just look it up. Blue October, Hate Me music video. You'll probably get the gist. Next one, I'm gonna grab this another CD in here, so I'm gonna get that CD out of the way too. David Bowie Moon Age Daydream soundtrack. Big David Bowie fan. I wanted to go see this at the IMAX theater. It was only playing for like 3 days, and I wanted to see it in IMAX. I wanted to see it with that whole surround sound thing there, that whole surround picture thing. Unfortunately, we were busy that week. It was a tough week that week. I want to say it was during the Halloween week, and we never had a chance to go see it. So I did buy the soundtrack. So also, what must be in here? Let me see. is the movie itself. Yes, the Moon Age Daydream documentary slash David Bowie. Listen, I'm just a David Bowie fan. David Bowie's got this presence and voice that soothes me. He's got a soothing thing going on about him. I don't know, and the fact that he seems to have been around my entire life. You know, David Bowie has played a part in my life throughout my entire life. It was like so everybody's got a soundtrack to their life. Everybody's got a soundtrack. You look back at your childhood, you look back at your thing. I remember David Bowie Changes song being on my father's record player, and then his 8-track player. I remember hearing Let's Dance and all these other songs throughout the course of my life. So David Bowie is definitely a part of the soundtrack of my life. So I collect them. I've been listening to them, and I love the music. Okay, so that's where I'm at with that. Dead Man on Campus. This is an upgrade from my other movie. If you've never seen this is a good one. This is a good, funny movie. And it stars the guy from Saved by the Bell, and is that Tom Hanks' son? That's somebody's son, right? Is that somebody's son? I want to say Tom Hanks. Is it Tom Hanks? Let me see. Are they gonna say? They're not gonna say. Why would they say in starring Tom Hanks' son? Yeah, not sure what the name of this guy is right here. This guy right here. But this is guys go to college, and they're saying that, I guess the theory is that if you have a this is kind of a ironic title to be pulling out during this day, but if you have a roommate that commits suicide, then you get to go to school for free. It's like a remorse thing. Like the school gives you a free ride because you went through a traumatic experience. So what they try to do is they try to find a roommate that is suicidal. And try to push him over the edge, so that way they can get a free ride through college. Very funny movie. Odd topic, yeah, odd topic, but very funny movie, and I've been wanting to upgrade it for a while, and it was $17.99 during the Black Friday sale thing on Amazon or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna grab it now because it was part of the bundle. As I was buying all these other ones, I'm like, okay, I gotta put myself over that $25 free shipping limit there, and I might as well grab this. Well, and last title I have in the bag here, I'll put that bag over there, is the Criterion 4K Blu-ray version of WALL-E. Yeah, and the reason why I bought this, I'm gonna tell you, I've never seen WALL-E. I've never seen it, and I was intrigued by the fact that they made a Disney movie, a Criterion, okay, because Disney don't want to do nothing with physical media anymore. It's just not a thing. It's like the Disney Channel, Disney Plus has taken over, and they don't want to do anything with physical media. But for some reason, they felt it in their hearts to get WALL-E a Criterion, which if you know Criterions, they have jam-packed with special features. I mean, this thing literally has this, I mean, all this stuff right here is all special features. I mean, I can go through we got a 4K master, we got a one 4K UHD disc film presented both in Dolby Vision and HDR, and two Blu-rays with the film, two Blu-rays with the film and special features, two audio commentaries, features by Stanton and the others characters or whatever, new programs, Stanton cinematic, I don't know what Stanton is. Stanton must be the creator of WALL-E, would be my guess. Tour of the Pixar Living Archives, behind the scenes documentary, a documentary on Leslie whatever, more than a dozen documentaries exploring the film's production. I mean, it goes on and on and on. A short film by McFarlane, McLean, trailers, English subtitles, sketchbooks, scripts. I mean, Criterion, as you know, they just knock it out of the park. And the deal is with Criterions, they're expensive. And I really, in my heart, I seem to think that the Barnes and Noble, okay, double the price of the Criterions, okay, because literally, if I was to go on eBay, the flippers be selling this thing for probably about $40 right now. You can probably get this at $40. If you go to Best Buy, it's $37, but for some reason Amazon had it for $24.99. So I was like, okay, well, if people Criterion's at Barnes and Noble like $50, so this thing's probably like $50 right now at the Barnes and Noble, but they're having their half off Barnes and Noble sale, you know what I mean? So they're probably right now this is probably like $25, but it's $24.99. on Amazon. So why drive to the Barnes and Noble when I could have just ordered it from Amazon? The fact is Amazon had this for the cheapest price available at that time, and I was like, okay, well, this thing seems to be going up in value on eBay. The flippers are flipping it for higher. And like I said, when it came out, should have been around $37 at Best Buy, and the flippers were getting 40 plus. So I was like, this is something that I should probably grab now. Plus, I've never seen it. But I did want to see a trailer, so I looked it up on YouTube. I looked up a trailer for Wall-E, and instead of getting a trailer, I got this guy explaining the movie Wall-E, and he depicts this as one of the greatest cartoon love stories ever, and they also say it's probably one of the best Pixar movies ever made. Visually, they say it's absolutely beautiful. They say the first hour of the movie, there's no words, which I found to be a little bit odd. And then what this is like a robot love story. This guy Wall-E is a junk collector. Supposedly, the planet Earth has people have finally just destroyed the planet Earth. It's all garbage, trash everywhere. So they send Wall-E to the planet to clean up the planet Earth. And then they send this other robot, did they put a picture of the robot? Yeah, this robot over here. They send this other robot down to the planet to try to find any kind of life form, like looking for like plants or some kind of living life form of some sort. And once she finds it, she leaves, but Wall-E falls in love with her, and he follows her to wherever she goes. That's what I got from the guy. So I'm kind of looking forward to checking that one out. Then I got some packages over here. I might as well just get them out of the way. This one came from Matt Williams from Hicksboro, KY or whatever, and I'm upgrading my Fantastic Beasts. So this is a Fantastic Beast and where to find them on 4K. I have the Harry Potters all on 4K, Blu-ray, and DVD. So I figured that it was time for me to upgrade these Fantastic Beast movies to 4K because I never bought that new Dumbledore one. I never bought the new Dumbledore one, so I figured, okay, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to upgrade it. And I'm going to upgrade all of my Fantastic Beasts to 4K because I got all the Harry Potters, and this is part of the franchise, so why not? So I ordered this one used, okay? So there's no digital code or nothing. It's just the 4K disc and the Blu-ray disc. And then I got this box in right here. And let me see here. This one came from Lakeside Brooks. Now this was actually a purchase from Walmart, okay? And I know for a fact that it came from Walmart because I got the thing there. And I guess Walmart, for some reason, I guess they sell third-party stuff. They don't just sell Walmart things. They sell things from sellers and other stuff. And you can get some. If you're looking for something old that you're looking for on like eBay, like so I'm talking like old stuff. Let's say you want something from the A-Team or from Knight Rider or whatever. You type that in Walmart. For some reason, they sell that kind of stuff, going for big money, really, really expensive. But I think it's from like outside vendors. So I was looking for something. I'm a can't sleep at night guy, and I like to listen to audiobooks. I'm not a reading guy. Let's make that clear. Obviously, by my movie collection, you know I don't read books. Okay, I'm not a book reading guy, but I am a audio commentary guy, or not audio commentary, audio book guy. So I like to listen to audiobooks. But here's the trick: they have to be read by the author. Okay, and yeah, because I think that if you wrote a book, you should be proud of your book and you should read it to me. Okay, kind of like a child, kind of like I sit there and read to the preschoolers. I want to be read by my favorite artists or stars or whatever. And this is Dave Grohl, the Storyteller. This is a 9 compact disc set, 10.5 hours, unabridged tale of the life and music read by the author. So I'm going to have David Grohl reading me his book at night until I finish all 9 discs. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do there, because I just finished the Keith Richards one. I finished the was it Keith Richards? Yeah, Keith Richards. I just finished the Bruce Springsteen one, and David Grohl seemed to be next on my line. I have 2 more things over here. I don't know what they may be, but hang on. I wasn't gonna open these because they looked like they could have possibly been gifts, Christmas gifts, but I'm not thinking so because of where they came from. This one's from csmakedent.com, and it is a copy of Gore Scumdogs Live XXX. Yes, this is a Gore CD. What is this thing here? Wait a minute. Okay, including all your favorite death anthems plus behind the scenes. Okay, so supposedly this is a, is it the saying on the side? This is a CD and Blu-ray combo pack of one of the most recent War concerts, along with well, I guess they redo the whole Scumdogs of the Universe album. If you are aware of Gore, they're entertaining. Okay, that's just all I gotta say. If you like horror movies, you probably like Gore. Okay, because they're full of blood and violence and just a mess. But I fell in love with them during high school when I started listening to War, King Diamond, Merciful Fate, and groups like that when I was in high school. Alongside with Metallica and Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and all of the classic guys. That's when I got mostly into my music. So this was the stuff that I would put in my cassette player. Yeah, a cassette player. Yeah, my Walkman. Okay, not a Sony Walkman, a cheap Walkman. I put in my Walkman and I'd be listening to some Scumdogs of the Universe while I was on the bus on the way to school. And I realized I did not have this in my collection, so I figured I would grab it. There was a signed copy, unfortunately. And the funny thing is these guys are so humble. I mean, they've been around forever, but they're not like mainstream. Does that make sense to you? Like, they've been around for absolutely forever, but I don't think they've ever gotten any radio play ever. They're just word of mouth, live performers. Everybody knows them, but probably don't own their CD. Probably don't even understand their music. They've heard of them. If you have the opportunity, look up Gore. I recommend for you to start out, if you want to look up a Gore song and be like, okay, Road Behind is a beautiful ballad. Okay, it's a ballad by Gore. I absolutely love that song. That's one and Sick of You. Okay, Sick of You would probably be the one that's going to give you the most Gore-ish look. Okay, it's not that hard. I'm trying to give you stuff that's not that so hard that you're like, I can't understand what they're saying, because they're that type of group, the way you don't some of the stuff you don't understand what they're saying. But Sick of You and Road Behind, I would go back to back with that. Check those out and you'll see the hotter side of Gore and the weaker side of Gore, like the ballad side. And I'll tell you right now, the lead singer, even though he plays his character and everything, and they got a new lead singer now, this guy in the middle, because the other guy passed away. He had a beautiful voice. Beautiful voice. Some of these heavy metal guys that like, like the growl and everything, they blow you away when they change their sound. The one that sticks in my head right now is Corey Taylor. It's Corey Taylor from Slipknot. There's some real beautiful songs on Slipknot albums, but a lot of Slipknot fans don't talk about those songs, because they like that hard, heavy, head banging, mosh pitting, anger rock, I mean, that anger metal. That's what they're after there. Where an older guy like me, I'm like, I like that stuff, but I'm always looking for that one song that kind of lets me really understand the person behind the mask or behind the character. I think I'm making sense here. I think I'm making sense. Last one, coming from Mark Casadia from California, this is it, my friends. And I first of all, before I get to the end of this thing, I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for hanging in there. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for subscribing. I want to thank you for I know this wasn't a funny one. I'm sure I'll be back into my more chipper self on the next video, because that's just me, because like I said, I go from 0 to 100 and then back to 0 again. So, but today was a little bit of a quiet day. Quiet. Let me not be overly stressed. Let me not be overly anxious. Let me not be overly over the top. Maybe I need to get a little bit out of my head and be a little bit more relaxed today. Yeah, this was a relaxing day. It is a copy of Bugsy Malone, starring Scott Baio and Jodie Foster. Yeah, this was a Paramount Presents classic that I have been wanting to get for a long time, and I've been putting it off. Now, I've never seen it, but these prices, these Paramount things where you open them up and they get like a picture of the poster and everything like that. They start off low at like a Walmart or whatever, but then for some reason the prices start going really crazy. And this is one of them that I did not have in my collection. I have most of them. I'm missing the only one I'm missing that I would like to get my hands on, which I should just buy it. is Ghost. And this movie called Breakdown with Kurt Russell. Now I own both Ghost. I own Ghost already on Blu-ray, and I own Breakdown on DVD. For some reason, they've always been kind of pricey, so I've kind of never wanted to pull a trigger on them. But maybe it's one of those things where I'm like, life is just a little bit too short, and maybe I should pull a trigger on buying those two titles, especially since Ghost is a awesome movie that I've absolutely always loved. And Breakdown is also an amazing movie. If you've never seen Breakdown, it's probably one of the better Kurt Russell movies. One of these where they kidnap his wife. He spends the whole movie trying to find the kidnappers of his wife, and he's just like he plays a superb part of, you know, a concerned husband that's out on a limb to try to find his wife. But yeah, this is part of that group. Okay, I think what's the other ones that I have? I own some Mommy Dearest, Fatal Attraction, Trading Places. There's a handful right now of these Paramount presents classic movies there. The only one I don't think I have any interest getting is, I think it's Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford, because I really don't care for that type of movie. I own it on DVD. I never upgraded to Blu-ray. Didn't really care because I wasn't a big Clear and Present Danger fan. Those movies, Hunt for Red October, Clear and Present Danger, it's not my thing. I'm not really a war movie guy or a submarine guy or a political guy. You know what I mean? That's not me. I don't want to think too much when I'm watching my movies. Okay, I just want to watch my movies. Okay, listen. I spend enough time in my life overthinking things. I don't need to be sitting down for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and be overthinking, you know, what's going on. Listen, we watch movies to escape the real world. I don't want to watch movies about the real world. To me, I could watch 101 horror movies, but you put in like a movie about 9/11, or you put in a movie of something that happened in real life. Those are the scary movies to me. Those are the horror movies to me. Those are the things that's movies about boats capsizing and people being stuck upside down and listen, those to me are. It's funny because I have a horror section over here, and it's filled with, you know, Leatherfaces and Freddy's and Jasons and Child's Plays and, you know, all kind of stuff like that, Phantasms. But the scary movies in my collection are the ones that stuff that could really happen to you, being buried alive, or you know, serial killers or whatever. Those are the scary. The world is a scary place. Okay, that's it. That's the bottom line. Okay, it's what scares me the most is that I have to watch a horror movie to escape the reality of what goes on a normal basis in this world. That's the scary part. If you really stop and think about it, that's kind of scary. That you have to, in order for you to have like an hour and a half of a mind rest, you got to put in something that would normally probably scare somebody, but not me. I don't look at it that way. I look at that. I would rather be chased by a chainsaw wielding killer, okay, than have to deal with a lot of the stuff that happens on a daily basis in this world, like the stuff that you put on Channel 12 News or Channel 10 News at 11 o'clock at night. That stuff is real. That really happens. Okay, that's the scary part. Okay, Jason, Freddy, you know, killing me in my dreams. I think that's the least of my worries, and it's the least of your worries in your life. So if you like that kind of stuff, keep on watching it. Keep on watching it, and don't let nobody tell you that anything that you're watching is messing you up in your head, because I've had so many people tell me, oh, you gotta get away from that stuff. It's messing you up in your head. No, what's messing me up in my head? Watching stuff like the news, that messes me up in my head. Okay, watching kids going to school and being afraid of what's gonna happen to them at school. Okay, that's what messes me up in my head. Okay, watching domestic violence and people car accidents, and that's the stuff that messes me up in my head. Okay, not a horror movie, not any of that stuff. That don't do it for me. Okay, it's the reality that messes me up. So with that said, my friends, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time with me. I apologize if I hurt, offended, upset, depressed, made anybody angry. I apologize ahead of time. But like I said, when you're sitting here on this channel, this is what you get. You get 100% me, 100% honesty. I don't pull no punches. And if you could please do me a favor, if you've hung in this long, just hit that subscribe button, and I will see you later.